You're here because you made some money last year and you're wondering if you have to file your taxes for the very first time. And I'm gonna help you figure out which of 3 categories you fall into. The first is people that absolutely have to file a tax return and don't have any choices about it. The second is people who don't have to file a tax return and they shouldn't bother because there's no benefit to them. The third is people who don't have to file but really should because they can get some money back. I'll help you figure out which one is you. So first up, let's talk about the people that must file a tax return and don't have a choice about it. This chart from the IRS is from 2021, but it's pretty similar for the tax year 2022. If you're single and you're under 65 years old, you must file if your gross income was over $12,400. And your gross income is the total amount of money you made before taxes. That number goes up a little bit every year, and for the tax year 2022, it was $12,950. So that's a general line for who needs to file a tax return. But if you are a dependent, there are some extra rules. So a dependent means that somebody else can claim you on their tax return. Generally, this includes everyone under 18, and it also includes full-time students who are supported by their parents and not married who are between 18 and 24. An extra rule for dependents is you have to follow that same gross income rule, but also you have this extra rule that if you have unearned income of more than $1,100 during the year, you also must file a tax return. Now, unearned income is generally things like interest from a savings account or dividends from stocks. Now, this might be a lot, so if you are not sure which category you fall into, thankfully the IRS has a really helpful tool. It's called Do I Need to File a Tax Return? And you just start it and you answer some questions and it'll tell you very clearly whether you need to file a tax return. So that's how you know if you need to file federal taxes. But you may also live in a state that has state taxes, or you might even have local income taxes as well. Generally, the state income taxes follow the same guidelines as the federal, so if you don't need to file federal, you probably also don't need to file state, but I would check with your own state just to make sure. Now, if you have local income taxes like we do here in Ohio, things get a little bit trickier. I'm actually planning to make a video about Ohio state RETA taxes, so if you're an Ohioan like me and you have these very complicated local taxes, look for that video coming up. But just be careful with local taxes because they can follow very different rules than federal and state. So at this point, maybe you know that you don't need to file because you're underneath that income threshold. So next, let's talk about whether you should file even if you're not required to. The first thing you're going to want to do is take a look at your W-2 form. If you worked a regular job this last year, you should have gotten a W-2 form in January, and this is what it looks like, but yours is going to be filled out. And look at box number 2. This is your federal income tax withheld. And box number 17, that's your state income tax withheld. And then over here, you would also see if you had any local income tax. If you are not required to file and you do have a number greater than 0 in box 2 or 17, it's very likely if you filed, you would get all of that money back. That number in box 2 is the federal income tax withheld by your employer during the year to pay your taxes. But if you are under that income threshold where you don't need to file, then it's very likely you're gonna get all of that money back if you file a tax return. And the same applies for box 17, which is your state taxes. You're very likely to get all of that back if you file a state income tax return. If both those boxes were 0 and you're under that threshold that requires filing, then you're all done. You do not need to do anything because there is no benefit in filing. Now, if you do need to file your very first tax return, I made a video walking through exactly what you need to do from start to finish. It's really quite easy and quick, and you can get that money back. That video should be out really soon, and I'm gonna link it right here for you, so make sure you click on that and follow my really easy tutorial for filing your taxes for the first time.